Hello and welcome to another edition of the Single 8 Show. Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single 8.
And welcome to the Single 8 Show for this week. Single H has been away from us for a couple of weeks, enjoying a little bit of summertime breaky fun.
Yeah.
But here we are back again in our two-part segments. First of all, Single 8 Show proper, talking about the current events that affect all of our LGBTQIA plus siblings, as well as Single H segment part 2. What movies are we going to watch this summer? Well,
Yeah.
A lot of great conversation going on, but can we please take a moment to discuss the Supreme Court's backing of the Tennessee restriction of transitioning care for minors?
It's getting to the point that I'm like, you let blonde people to die. You let blonde people to die. There's no other reason. They're not caring about reading stuff. At this point, there's really no sign of good intentions.
Other than having a rule that fits into a box.
Yet.
I would like to hash out your statement that all they do is want people to die. So I want us to kind of work through not making blanket statements, but kind of playing it out. So can you process that statement? I'm not saying this because I disagree with you. I want you to hash it out fully.
If you look at basically any research on gender-affirming care, you will know that it specifically very much so helps mental health.
Yes.
And also, as we have been seeing, as the more of these bills coming past, the numbers of suicide and self-harm rates going on within the community had gone up. It had.
With the restrictions.
With the restriction, because you're taking away health care that is clearly needed.
And within that, they're also restricting hope. That is clearly helpful. So I'm going to make a statement that you're not going to like, but please don't cut me off. I'm going to make a statement that you'll agree with, but I have to start with one that you won't agree with. There is a lot of statements that says that transgender individuals are just mentally ill. Okay? So I want to propose, and this is what you're not going to agree with, I'm going to propose that they're right. That transgender individuals are mentally ill. So if they're trying to help people the way that they need to be helped, helping the mentally ill, I would turn this question around and ask, why are you not also funding mental health care? There's no funding for mental health care.
Yeah.
If you restrict something that shows that they're helping someone because you feel it's something else, and then not fund that to actually help the person, you're not trying to help a person, you're trying to have control.
Yep.
So what I tried to say very clearly, I do not feel that transgender individuals are mentally ill. But what I am trying to say is, if you just look at the totality of what people do, what they say and what they do very commonly never matches, and it more commonly they show how much that they actually care.
Yeah.
If an individual feels that a transgender identity is a mental illness and they want to actually help those people by not funding emotional and mental health care, they're damn liars.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Basically, tons of research showing that being trans isn't a mental illness. There's tons and tons of it. Even though we do have to go, gender dysphoria is in the DSM-5, but it's not as a mental illness. It's in there for people to have specification, I think I used that word correctly, to get the care that they need to transition.
They need to have a specified need to receive the care.
Yes.
Yes. Certification.
Yeah, certification that's going, here's what I'm dealing with. Okay, this is how we help.
Yes.
And they basically use it as guidelines to figure out if it's a good idea if you transition or not.
Yes.
And one annoying thing is, they check, if you're mentally stable enough. And I'm like,
well,
honey.
Okay. Keep going.
It's hard being mentally stable when your body hates you and you hate your body. And it's that kind of, that immediate, it's kind of more, I would say more get it, more here's all the double checks.
Yeah.
That need to happen. Because that going through the healthcare system know that it's a needed thing.
Yeah.
Because you kind of have to be a needed / very wanted thing to go through the thing that you have to go through to medically transition.
And who would go through all that if it was not a reality?
Yep.
Yeah. I was thinking about that a lot recently, as you are the ultimate example of how it's not a mental illness, but transitioning care is actually freeing. Transitioning is actually freeing and is mental health care.
Yeah.
Let's say emotional health care.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of your siblings, who we will not name, nor we will say where we were talking, and seeing the freedom that they have, even without dealing with new struggles that they're transitioning away from home to be in a state school setting. And why I keep pushing back with why would someone go through that if it wasn't a reality? And the conservative side will always push back, well, that's what mental illness does. But mental illness doesn't make you feel better about yourself. And when you get to the point that you're following this path and you find that freedom and you feel better about yourself, that's what disproves the mental illness. I know people that actually deal with mental illnesses. There's nothing that makes them happy other than therapy and processing and tearing things down and building them back up. So it's the realization of happiness that I feel that disproves all that.
Yeah. I'm I have generalized anxiety disorder, but that does not affect me being trans. And even if I didn't, I would probably still be trans, despite having generalized anxiety and having panic attacks. Both of them do not correlate. They're two separate lines.
Yes.
And yet one line can help the other, but it takes a lot of help for one to help the other. It takes a lot for one to help the other.
A lot of help and a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. As we talk about a lot of help and a lot of work, we also need to break down what that help and work actually is. Recently, I've read an article that my home state, my home Commonwealth of Virginia, is starting to lighten laws against conversion therapy, as we on our side would push back against that. Individuals on the conservative side would push back with, well, how is this not the same thing? You're trying to change your body. We're trying to change your spirit. So push back on that, Connor.
Well, conversion therapy has been proven to cause trauma and not work. Has been proven countless times to not do anything except make more negative mental health effects.
And if you want to talk about regrets, they talk about people detransitioning.
It's less than 1%.
All right, hang on.
Sorry.
Yes, it's less than 1% of individuals that detransition from transgender, but within conversion therapy, it's a much higher rate of individuals that detransition back into an acknowledgement of their LGBTQIA plus journey.
Yeah.
If you compare, and I'm using the word detransition because it's roughly the same thing, very roughly, but I'm hoping people can connect to the analogy.
Yes, and most people who detransition retransition because they weren't in a safe area to transition in the first place.
Within the transgender community, that's very much correct, that the detransitioning still links more to trauma and fear than it is the actual emotional change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're dealing with all that. It has been a very frustrating week dealing with politics across the board.
Yeah.
Specifically politics that exists within our lives and within your journey. And deep down, I'm just trying to figure out how to take care of you and help you as the world seems to be pushing back in a very harmful way.
Yeah.
So if you could speak to a senator, a congressperson, what language would you use to share with them either the harm they're causing or why that this is healthy for you? What language would you use for them to process that?
I would honestly, it's good. As we have seen on the conservative side, it's good to lead with emotion to some degree, but at the same time, it's good to lead with numbers as well, for them to also, see, hey, this is approximately how many people you are affecting. Hey, this is how many people it could help. And let them see the numbers, and better yet, probably weigh them out against things, and show them the positive effect. Show them the positive effect. Especially if you're in a red state, and especially if you're in a blue state as well. Call your Congress. I think there's an overall phone call to the office of senators, and then you tell them your zip code, and they will place you with the right senator.
I just recently made one of those phone calls to voice my concerns about the big bungled bill, and God bless we exist within that, but we cannot stop using our voices. I'd like to share with everyone that are looking for ways to use their hands and feet as well as their voices. There is my brain just blacked out. There's more rallies being planned for July 17th across the nation. It was very much specific towards a very specific civil rights leader, and this always happens. When I want to make a very big point, my brain shuts down.
Yes,
so please forgive me for any unintended disrespect by me dropping the name, but there's more rallies coming on July 17th.
Yes, then please go out and do No King protest, please, if you can and if you feel safe enough to go out and protest. There's no pressure to go out and protest, but if you can, do every action that you can do at home to be a good act of resistance. Make protest art, make music, express your feelings to people that you know can listen and carry it through.
Yes. So I want to talk about something. Can you pull out your phone and type in July 17th while I vamp for a few moments? as we're starting to transition into the fun and games part of the Single H show, I want to share just for a moment how one individual in my fun and games life has been a very outspoken individual within the world of advocacy, and that's a gentleman named Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was in WWE for years as Diesel. He is the foundation of the New World Order, and he recently has been ripping apart the passage of the big bungled bill. And I am quite happy and just at peace and joy that Kevin Nash, of all people, is doing this. Did you find a name that the protests are connected to?
Protest.
July 17th. It's okay.
No, give me.
I will name. Okay. And so it's been just really cool watching Kevin Nash speak out against everything that's been going on. So as we deal with all these things, with the buttons and the bleeps in the background, I'm going to shift into our time of commercials. And our first commercial today is from Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery. That's right, friends. If you're looking for places to protest, they are all around the country. If you're looking for a place to decompress and just have a few moments of championship golf, and if you're trying to remember those loved ones who gave you a heart and passion of social justice, then Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery is the place for you. That's right, friends. Because of land usage restrictions, Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery is using its beautiful, gorgeous lawns to supply you not just a place for leisurely golf, but also that burial space to remember your loved ones. That's right, at Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery, make the place that you got your hole in one, your place for your hole for one. Rolling Greens. All right, back to Single H. We're going to...
It's another No King protest.
Okay, so we're going to move into our fun and games section, and we're going to talk about summertime movies.
Yeah, but first we're going to talk about Brad Mazur's.
Oh, we need... All right, Let's talk about that, and let's do summertime movies next time.
Yes.
The Transcended had the opportunity to go to see Barry Bostwick, Brad Majors himself, at a 50th anniversary celebration of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, it was so good. He got us to say "actual" so many times.
And that was cool. And he talked about how much that he loves that shout back has become sort of his catchphrase, his moniker, and how cool is that?
Yeah, and it was awesome seeing him go, hey, I think this is the best group of people. Keep on fighting. Let's take him down. Let's bring him down a peg.
Hearing Barry Bostwick share all those things that kind of connected to the first half of this podcast today was very reaffirming. And we get these moments that actors and sports and musicians are told, shut up and sing, shut up and play basketball, shut up and act. No, screw you. Anybody who has a voice and has power needs to be speaking as much as they possibly can right now.
Yeah.
Because those of us with no power are still trying to use our voices through the powerhouse of Transcendent Media.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part of the Rocky Horror Picture Show 50th anniversary program other than Trixie?
Fuck you. Well, we know what your favorite part was.
What was it?
Trixie.
I was too busy watching you watch Trixie. And that was my favorite part. There's nothing more fulfilling than watching your young son discover. Never mind. But I love it.
There was no detracting. I would let you.
Let me tell you, what I like the most is Rick Kane and I go to the Rocky Show. You and I go to the Rocky Show, and we're kind of like in our minor league ballpark when we go to the Rocky Show.
Yeah.
And we're there. We're doing the community shoutbacks and everything. Rick Kane, through the powers of slugs and fishnets in Santa Cruz, has all of their callbacks. So we're sitting there, and this was like being at a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah.
It was. Everybody was in it. Everybody brought their shoutbacks back, and it felt like truly being in a major league experience.
Yeah.
And we ended up in this. I'll call it a hot corner. We were in the hot corner.
Yeah.
We had the Transcended there, you and I, doing the Encinitas shoutbacks.
Yeah.
We had Rick Kane there doing the Santa Cruz shoutbacks. Right directly behind us was a person that started a Rocky Horror Show Club at UC Davis that was doing the UC Davis shoutbacks, and then their partner was doing Los Angeles shoutbacks. That was the hot corner. I had such a good time.
That was the first time I ever seen a Shadow Cat that had the jacket. That had like a fully recreated Frankie jacket.
The leather jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man. I like how they did the opening when all their names came up.
Yeah, and they had them walk through.
Yeah.
With the names showing up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, that was quite cool. Yeah.
But it was fun. Like, I think all the callbacks was my favorite part.
And I heard some new ones. Rick Kane dropped an excellent one that I never heard before. And it's during the ballroom scene when all of the people, all of the audience disappears and it's an empty ballroom.
Yeah.
Rick Kane just shouts out, "Oh, look, it's Donald Trump's birthday party." And I heard people laughing all over the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was cool seeing, like, I'll do our normal callback, you doing the White House callback.
It seems like a country club for rich weirdos. You mean the White House?
Yeah. It's fun. That room was very much like, we're all here to have fun. No one cared. Let's have fun and goof off and have a grand old time.
Yeah. What is your favorite callback?
Honestly, Slut. Not yet. Give her time.
Yeah.
It's the longest callback, and I can never get it done in the time that it needed to get done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. My favorite one is the one where they're standing at the door and Brad says yes and Riff Raff says yes and then the lightning strikes.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, hey, Brad, are you gay? Yes. Riff Raff, are you gay? Yes. God, are you gay?
Yeah,
That's my favorite callback.
Honestly, my favorite callbacks are like the one that we made up in the house and then like filter out.
Which like
the White House one?
The White House one, yes.
Honestly, probably whenever I get like I want to yell something out.
And you just yell something new every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I'm thinking maybe that we're going to go to Rocky next Friday.
Yeah. Well,
now that the entire DWO's back together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Permanently.
And honestly, it's weird thinking that is a Disney property now.
Now that Frankenfurter is officially a Disney princess.
Honestly, yes.
Yes.
Can we get them in the lineup? Can we get dolls of Frankenfurter Disney? Can we make?
There's pops coming out. There's pops coming out.
I want a Brad. I want
a Brad?
Yeah, I want Brad in like the outfit when they're going into the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was looking up Brad Major jacket for the fun of it, and I'm like, I might get one of these when I'm willing to drop $100-something on it.
Hey, Ricky was wearing one. Ricky was in Slugs and Fishnets Shadowcast, and had one of those jackets. Was that Ricky's jacket, or was that a prop?
I'm pretty sure it's a prop, because those jackets are like $100+ dollars.
Okay.
Like, whenever I saw them, I would like 118, 117. Always like in that 110 to that 120 type zone. And I'm like, valid, because these are very close to the movie.
Yeah. I would want a Frankenfurter jacket with the buttons and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bet if we could find a good one from, like a thrift store, and we go to town on it, and we make you that jacket, we could probably make it cheaper than buying it.
I tell you, that one of the things, and for those of you that don't actually know me, you're going to get a little bit of me right now. One of the hard things with that is when you're a big old boy like I am, it's really hard to find jackets that fit in a thrift shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to find good jackets minimum at thrift shops.
That's true. That's true.
No offense.
No offense, but that's a great episode. Welcome back, Single H, after 2 weeks off. That was the Single H show for this week. Do you want to plug yourself real quick?
Oh yeah, go buy my weird stickers on Redbubble. We do have Rocky Horror ones.
And go to the Single H show sticker store on Redbubble. You can get there through our links on the Transcended Media Instagram page. And there we go.
Yeah.
That was the Single H show for this week.
Your name is...
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is...
The Single H. Have a great week.